Welcome to True Crime Tuesday, where the truth is scarier than fiction. Each week, we dive deep into the darkest corners of human nature, exploring real-life crime cases, unsolved mysteries, and infamous killers. From chilling disappearances to horrifying serial crimes, these stories are as disturbing as they are true. So if you think you can handle the horror, stay tuned, because some of these cases are so terrifying, you may not sleep tonight. They say evil wears many faces, but what if one of those was a wolf's? My name is, well, let's just say I've been researching tales that lurk on the edge of belief. This one chills the blood, because once, in the shadows of 1580s Germany, a man named Peter Stumpp confessed to being something beyond human. Something monstrous. This is his story, and mine. Germany 1589. A time plagued by war, superstition, and fear. Bedburg, a quite rural town nestled in the electorate of Cologne, was about to become infamous across Europe. The land was soaked not just in rain, but in dread. Livestock mutilated, children vanished, and bodies torn apart as if by beasts. Whispers of a werewolf echoed through the fields and forests. I first read of Peter Stumpp in an obscure journal tucked away in a dusty library basement in London. What struck me wasn't just the brutality of the crimes, but the sheer conviction behind his confession. It was either madness or something far worse. Who was Peter Stumpp? Peter Stumpp, also known as Stumpp, Stube, or Stubb, was a wealthy farmer and widower. He lived with his children on the outskirts of Bedburg. Known in the village, if not well liked, his life seemed typical until the deaths began. Over 25 people were said to have been brutally murdered. Men, women, and children. Villagers whispered of a great black wolf with fiery eyes and unmatched strength. Armed bands were forced to track the beast, but it's always vanished. Until one day in the spring of 1589, they caught it. Or rather, they cornered the wolf, which transformed into Peter Stumpp before their very eyes, or so the story goes. The Magic Belt. What followed reads like a horror novel. Under torture, Stumpp confessed to having made a pact with the devil at age 12. The devil, he claimed, gave him a belt, a magical belt, made of wolf skin. When worn, it turned him into a monstrous creature, part man, part wolf, with an insatiable bloodlust. He claimed to have worn it often, stalking the countryside for prey. His favourite targets? Children. He even admitted cannibalizing his own son. The villagers, and later the court, recoiled in horror, but not all believed him. Some said the belt never existed, it was never found. Only Peter's mangled confessions remained. The Inquisition-style justice system of the time left little room for innocence. Torture wasn't just accepted, it was expected. Stumpp was put to the rack, his ribs stretched, flesh torn, bones cracked. It was during this torment that he confessed to over 24 murders, incest, cannibalism, and witchcraft. I remember reading one line in the original trial transcript. He did devour the flesh of those he did love. That sentence haunted me. It made me question, was he truly a monster? Or did the agony twist his mind beyond reason? Trial and execution. Peter Stumpp was found guilty on all charges. His execution on the 31st, 1589 was meant to be a spectacle and a warning. First, he was strapped to a breaking wheel, His limbs were shattered with the blunt side of an axe. Then, his flesh was torn with red-hot pincers. Finally, he was beheaded and burned. His daughter and mistress, both accused of incest and complicity, were also burned alive beside him. A gruesome end to a man painted as a werewolf. But the story doesn't end there. An English pamphlet published in 1590 spread the tale across Europe. It was translated, republished, and embellished. The tale of the Werewolf of Bedburg became infamous, but the political undertones are hard to miss. At the time, tensions between Catholic and Protestants were high. Stumpp, a Protestant, may have been a convenient scapegoat. Bedburg was under Catholic control. Was this execution justice or propaganda dressed in fangs and fur? So what was Peter Stumpp really? A werewolf, a madman, or a victim of religious and political persecution? Some scholars believe the case was entirely fabricated, a tool for fear-mongering. Others point to lycanthropy, real psychological disorders that mimic wolf-like behavior. As I walked through Bedburg's forest last year, I tried to picture him. A man torn between guilt and delusion, or a beast hiding behind a human face. The psychology of a monster. What compels a man to murder? To become the monster in the shadows? Some say Peter Stumpp had schizophrenia. Others say he was a psychopath, enjoying the power he held over the terrified villagers. But what about the belt? Was it a metaphor? A lie told so often under agony that he believed it himself? I imagined the belt once, thick, coarse, stitched from nightmare. A symbol of what we give ourselves permission to become when we believe no one is watching. Whether real or not, that belt represented a transformation, not of the body, but of the soul. Stumpp's story would go on to influence werewolf lore for centuries. Books, films, and documentaries still retell his tale. In many ways, he was Europe's first true crime celebrity. But behind the gore is a cautionary tale about fear, belief, and the power of narrative. The Werewolf of Bedburg became the beast we needed him to be. Proof that evil walks among us, that anyone could be hiding fangs beneath their smile. Peter Stumpp may have died over 400 years ago, but his legend lives on. I can't tell you whether he was a monster in truth, or made into one by men more monstrous still. But I can tell you this: the real horror isn't in the teeth or claws. It's in the stories we tell and why we choose to believe them. If you found this story as fascinating and chilling as I did, consider subscribing for more historical deep dives into the darkest corners of human history. Until next time, keep your lanterns lit and your doors locked. You never know what walks in the woods.